Guys, welcome back, and today I'll be doing a new what if on my channel, which is what if Gohan died to Raditz. Now, I don't want to waste too much time, so let's get right into it. We joined the story with the fight between Goku and Piccolo versus Raditz still happening. Like normal, Gohan still attacks Raditz out of anger, doing a lot of damage to him. However, unlike normal, Raditz actually manages to get his senses back quickly. He grabs hold of Gohan, and after getting hit by the young hybrid, he's so angry, he just quickly snaps Gohan's neck. Not even thinking that that's his nephew, he's just pissed off he got hurt by a young child. Now, he throws Gohan's body to the side and starts laughing at how weak he is. But then his scout starts picking up a big power level and it's growing fast and eventually eclipses his own. It's his younger brother. And after seeing his son died, Goku is just snapped. He's not in Super Saiyan before anyone starts thinking that. No, he's just angry. He charges his brother, and without wasting a second, he punches a hole straight through Raditz, making Raditz cough up blood and slowly fall into his brother's shoulder, and Goku just lets his body drop to the floor. He doesn't even want to catch him. Piccolo, who's still in shock from sensing Gohan's power level just a few seconds ago, eventually snaps back to normal and sees Goku stood above a dead Raditz, and he's scared of how strong Goku is. When Goku looks back to Piccolo, he sees Goku's eyes are growing a bright yellow, and then Goku passes out. Piccolo, who doesn't know what to do or what he should do, sort of stays there awkwardly until the rest of the group shows up and asks what happened, with Piccolo having to fill them in. Goku's unconscious at the moment, so he can't talk. Everyone being upset to hear that Goku's kid, Gohan, has been murdered. And when Krillin and Master Roshi go to pick up Goku and Gohan's body, Bulma goes over to Raditz's face and takes the scour just to see what it is. And she picks up on the conversation of Nappa and Vegeta saying how they're coming to Earth to figure out what happened to Raditz. And she quickly doesn't know what to do with it, destroys it and warns everyone of what's happened. And just the thought of two stronger Saiyans showing up scares them. However, while this is happening, Goku's slowly gaining consciousness and they can hear him muttering something. And eventually he starts making a bit more sense, and he's muttering Gohan's name and he's apologising for not being strong enough to defend him. And after a while they drop Goku off at his own home, and when he comes to, Chi-Chi's there watching over him. He quickly shoots up and he hugs her, with her basically crying in his arms, and Goku's not far off crying himself. They then quickly say that they're going to go wish their son back as fast as possible. Krillin quickly fills Goku in on what's happening with the next set of Saiyans that are coming, and explains how they are apparently much stronger than Raditz, so they need to start getting ready to face the new ones. Goku isn't in a very good spot right now. He understands that he needs to start training, but he wants to wish his son back first. They fly off and they start heading towards Kame House, with Chi-Chi going in a ship with Bulma and getting the Dragon Radar before going to Kame House. Everyone else who wasn't in the Raditz fight or wasn't present when Raditz showed up is now heading towards Kame House. On the way to Kame House, Goku gets contacted by Kame telepathically, and he's explaining how he's currently sat with Gohan, who was in the other world. He got to keep his body because he was a child and quite pure. Also, Goku had done a lot of good things for the world, so King Yama thought that he would throw Goku a bone by letting his son keep his body. Now, Kami explains that he's going to sit in the other world with Gohan until they wish him back. It then brings up the fact that Gohan actually really got strong halfway through the fight with Raditz before he died, and says that if Goku will allow him, Kami would like to train up Gohan, just so they have an extra member to fight during the Saiyan attack. Goku hesitates and actually stops flying at this point, confusing Krillin, and he's not sure. He believes it would be a good idea, because then at least Gohan will be strong enough to defend himself in case something like this ever happens again. However, he needs to run it by Chi-Chi. So he continues flying, and when he arrives at Kame House, he's greeted by Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, Roshi and Bulma, with Chi-Chi and Krillin being ahead of him, so they are already there. And once everyone hears what happened to Goku's son, they all want to help collect the Dragon Balls to wish him back. So everyone gets an idea of where the Dragon Balls are from the Dragon Radar and fly off, saying that once they've revived Gohan, they are then going to go train with Kami like Goku did years ago, just to get some training. And before Chi-Chi leaves with Bulma in her ship, Goku pulls her to the side and explains the fact that Kami offered to train Gohan to defend him, and Goku thinks it'll be a good idea, so something like this never happens again. Chi-Chi actually agrees with this, so like Goku said, her son can defend himself, but she's also going to be doing the training with Kami to make sure that at least she can defend her son, if anything. Goku is happy to hear this, happy to hear that his wife wants to train again, and this actually lifts the mood a little bit, causing the two to share a quick hug before they all go off to grabbing the Dragon Balls. Now after a day, they do manage to collect all the balls and they summon Shenron and they wish Gohan back to life, with Goku and Chi-Chi running over to hug him the moment he's back. But an unexpected guest appears, which is Piccolo. He's over there to start training with Goku. Now, Goku isn't going to go train with Kami. He was going to go look for Piccolo tomorrow when everyone is going to start training, but Piccolo came to him, so this saves him a trip. However, he does say that he isn't going to start training until tomorrow. They're sort of having a celebration / a good luck meal tonight, just so it helps lift the mood a little bit more, which annoys Piccolo. However, he does want to talk to Goku quickly in private, making Goku walk over to the side with him. And he starts asking what was the power he showed off which killed Raditz. Goku explaining he doesn't know. He just sort of remembers feeling the increase after seeing what his brother did to his son, after seeing Gohan get, and then he sort of stops. He doesn't want to say what happened. It's sort of still a very, very sore subject. It was this same day. Piccolo, ignoring the fact that he won't finish the sentence, says he wants to help Goku train, and this will help both of them get stronger. But more importantly, he wants to make sure Goku can reactivate this power. It's probably going to be what helps him win against the Saiyans. Goku agreeing with Piccolo, his recent rival, but he then says that he wants to spend the night with his friends and his family, just so they can have sort of a good night after bringing Gohan back to life. He also wants to try and apologise to his son. With that, Piccolo says that he will stay nearby and just come and get him whenever he's dropped off everyone tomorrow. Everyone actually does have quite a nice time. It's mostly just to sort of try and raise Gohan's spirit a little bit. After all, he's a child who just got murdered, so that's probably why it was thrown. However, pretty much every one of the Z fighters stays around Goku's, except for the exceptions of like Bulma, Yamcha. 1 or 2 people do leave, but other than that, everyone pretty much does stay. Now, the next day, when everyone's leaving for Kami's lookout, Gohan and Chi-Chi ride Nimbus up to Kami's lookout, with Goku flying alongside them just to say goodbye and give his son a hug, because he still feels very responsible for the fact that his child died. He wishes he was stronger and he's still really beating himself up about it. And like that, he wishes them all good luck and flies off to go fight Piccolo for some training. Now, I'm going to cover how everyone grew in a minute. I'm just going to get into a little bit of detail with what happened in each group. First, I'm going to cover the Kami group, which goes pretty normal like it did in canon, with the only change being the addition of Chi-Chi and Gohan. Chi-Chi needs to catch up quite a bit. She was quite a strong Z fighter a while ago, but she stopped training, so now she needs to grow quite a bit quite soon. And alongside that, Gohan's training is very different from everyone else. He has to be taught most of the basics before he can do some more intense training. So before he's allowed to do any training with everyone else, Kami sets him aside and teaches him some basics, very basic martial arts, and then sends him down to Korin to help him get a bit stronger like he did for Goku. And then when he's introduced to sparring with the Z fighters, they all teach him a lot, and he's now been introduced to martial arts in a much healthier and happier way. He still has this, however, every now and again, he will have this horrible memory of having his neck broke. And every time a battle gets a bit too intense, he starts screaming and crying as he remembers dying, and it scares him deeply. It takes a lot for him to get over it, but every time he does have a moment like this, his mum hugs him, or Kami tries to comfort it, Krillin tries, and every now and again Goku is on the lookout with them, so he will try and help as well. And another thing is, he has had his tail removed. They don't want an incident like what happened with Goku years ago, so Kami thought to get rid of it quite early on. However, to generalise things, he does enjoy training a lot more in this timeline. Goku and Piccolo's training is pretty much most of the time just normal sparring, sometimes coming up with new techniques, but every now and again it'll be something very difficult and very dark for someone to go through. Piccolo tends to set aside a day or two, and he wants to push Goku to the absolute max. He puts him in a very dark place and he really sort of beats him while he's down, trying to reactivate whatever Goku's power was from earlier. Like I said, this is only every once in a while, but Piccolo and Goku see it as necessary to try and beat Goku mentally to see if that can reactivate it. After all, when it did activate, it was because Goku saw his son die and was in a very emotional state. So they have come to the conclusion that maybe it's something tied with Goku's emotions. However, they can't seem to ever activate it, like I said. Now, they do normal training, like I said, and the two would often visit everyone training at the lookout, but they wouldn't spend long just to see how everyone's doing and check on, with Goku being the one who mostly wants to go to check on his friends, see how they've grown, and see his family. And they do spend a little bit of time training, like I said, but not a lot. Now, I'm going to get into the growth of everyone in the group after the year of training quickly, and here it is. First off is Goku, who at the start of his training started at a power level of 416, and through his year of training with Piccolo, I've given him a 14 times increase, putting him at about 5,768. Now keep in mind, he's had some great training with Piccolo, and he's also really motivated to make sure no one else dies after watching his son die. However, he isn't as strong as he was in canon because he's not had the benefit of gravity training, so he's a little bit weaker. However, I believe this is a fair number to give Goku. Piccolo, who is probably the second strongest, started at a power level of 408, and I'm going to give him an 11 times increase, which puts him at 4,488. This actually makes him stronger than his canon counterpart, because he's had some great training with Goku. The only reason he got a lower multiplier is because he doesn't have the benefit of Zenkais, and unlike Goku as well, he's not very motivated. He has been pushing Goku to make sure he can get stronger, and to be honest, Goku has pushed Piccolo as well, and through this time Piccolo has become a better person. Much like in canon, he's now a good guy in his own sense, but that is thanks to the influence of Goku, not Gohan this time. It's probably the strongest of all the Earthlings. Before he started this training, his power level was 250. I've decided to give Tien a 9 times increase, which puts his new power level at 2,250. Now, he has gone through the same training as canon, so regardless, I was giving him a bit more of a multiplier than he did in canon, because he has an extra training partner there, and every now and again Goku would come and train with everyone on the lookout. So he's gained a small increase and is now the strongest Earthling like normal. I know it's not a massive increase because he's only just a bit stronger than his canon counterpart. However, at this point, every small increase will help them. Krillin, much like normal, starts at a power level of 206. And I've decided to give Krillin a 10 times increase in power, putting his new power level at 2060. Much like Tien, he had gone through the same training like normal. However, he had the extra bonus of having Chi-Chi as an extra training partner. However, unlike Tien, he's a lot more motivated than he is in canon. In canon, he lost his best friend. However, Goku sacrificed himself for this. This time, a child died, and Krillin feels a bit bad about it. He feels like if he had not got so lazy with his training, he could have been stronger, and maybe he could have stopped Raditz from killing Gohan. So he has gained a bit of an increase from this. Chi-Chi is the person who's probably had to gain the most ground, other than maybe Gohan. She started at a power level of 130, and I've decided to give her an 11.5 times increase, putting her power level at 1,495. Now, I know this is a very big boost for Chi-Chi, and it's actually probably one of the biggest boosts I've given. However, out of everyone there, she is so determined to make sure she is strong enough to protect Gohan. She doesn't want her son to ever die again, so she has probably pushed herself a lot harder than everyone else there. Now, even though she has gained quite a big increase, she's still one of the weakest there. Which means even though she's got a big increase, she's probably not going to be too useful during the fight, but I believe this is the best place to put her. Gohan, when he began his training, had a power level of about 20. He got a Zenkai from getting his neck broken from Raditz, so that's helped him in the long run. And I'm not giving his multiplier because it seems too big, and even though it's not unrealistic because he got a big multiplier from normal, it just is weird to say. I've put Gohan at about a power level of 2000. He's weaker than he is in canon, yes, but he was babied by his mum, so he was never pushed to the point where he got a load of Zenkais. Every now and again he would. And also he had sort of like PTSD flashbacks of dying every now and again. So he would get stopped during training. He would never get pushed too far. However, the better part of this is he does enjoy training a lot more. He grew up in a much more happy environment to be trained in. So he probably will train a bit out of fun later on in his life. It just starts off with a power level of 177, and I've given him an increase of 9.5 times, which puts his power level at 1681. Like I said with Tien and Krillin, he had the benefits of having an extra training partner after doing the same training in canon. He occasionally would spar with Goku, but Goku soon outgrew him, so it became a bit of an unfair fight. But this is where I believe Yamcha should be. Chaozu had a power level of 141 at the beginning of training. I've given him a 6 times increase, putting him at 846. And I'm just going to quickly say, like I said with Krillin, Tien and Yamcha, he had the benefits of an extra training partner. However, because Chaozu didn't grow much anyway in canon, he's still stronger than he was, but he's not anything dramatic. Yajirobe's kind of weird because I don't often talk about his increase because he's a character I tend to forget trained with everyone on Kami's lookout. But he started off with a power level of 105, and I've given him a 9 times increase, putting him at a power level of 945. Now, like normal, he had an extra training partner, so he did grow stronger anyway, but he was bribed into training harder by Chi-Chi. As if Chi-Chi believed he trained really hard one day, she would cook him up a feast, and this was a pretty good way to make him train a bit harder, so he's only just under 1000, which makes him quite a bit stronger than his canon counterpart. Now, after covering everyone's development and growth for the year, it's the day of the Saiyan attack, and not everyone's together yet. However, they do all meet up in the wasteland, which Goku and Piccolo had done some training in, so they do have an idea of the lands they're in. They do have a few senzu beans, but not a lot, maybe 2 or 3. However, when the two Saiyans show up and come face to face with the group, and the fight's about to begin, this is where I'm stopping it. I like having to stop just before a fight, mostly because that means I can do one episode, a very action-based one, and then one episode which isn't. I know it isn't the most fun, but I think the fight can be short. I tend to do it as fast as I possibly can. However, this fight will not be short. This fight will probably be a pretty intense one, harder than canon maybe. But what does everyone think to this what if? I quite like the idea of this what if, and it was one of the ones recommended to me by a friend, and also was inspired by something I read from someone I've been emailing recently. But I hope you had a good day or a great night, and I hope you enjoyed the video.